seconds of sounds from the Navajo forest in Belarus. I have been in nature my whole life. Since I was a young kid, I was born near the mountains, and I've learned to appreciate nature very much. I think this is the most important step if we're going to do anything around protection and conservation efforts, is understanding it first. How can you save something and protect something and build something back up that you don't understand or know or have experienced? And so I think this is the first step, to fully immerse yourself in nature in some capacity and come to understand and appreciate it. So I'm going to take you on a journey with me through my experiences in nature, in wildlife, photography, and show you some of my experiences and tell you a few of the stories. Places I'll be taking you to are Sri Lanka, India, Costa Rica, Belarus, Ethiopia, and Kenya. Now these are not the only countries I've visited and experienced. Nature, of course, my own home state in Washington State in America has been probably the best experiences I've had, but to an international crowd, I want to make sure that I highlight the most amazing experiences I've seen internationally. But there have been many, many more. About me, I am a teacher here at ICS. I teach literature and photography. I've also really am passionate about wildlife, as you know, and about nature, as you can tell from this presentation. And so I've given presentations before. This presentation was a photography presentation, specifically a wildlife photography presentation in Belarus at the Pushkin Library. I've had several of these presentations in the past. And then this photo is a recent trip that we here at the school did to Mount Kenya just a few months ago. We as a group of students immersed ourselves fully in the silence and the beauty and the ruggedness and the vast expanse of the sky on our way to the top of Mount Kenya. It was a beautiful, beautiful trip. So this is what I'm about. I'm about nature, adventure, exploration, and so I think it's appropriate that I show you guys the things that I've done and share with you my stories. First place I want to take you to is Costa Rica. The first thing you'll notice as you get in Costa Rica are the smells and the sights and the sounds. It's so rich in color and smells and beauty, the flavors of the food, the flavors of everything around you, really, if I were to use that metaphorical phrase. The people, the music, all of it is incredibly beautiful. It's not a country like any country in the world without its challenges, of course. And I don't want to make it out to be perfect. But in terms of nature, it's as perfect as it can get. It's a beautiful place. A group of investors and myself have invested in a forest, rainforest, deep in the south to protect it from farming. We've saved over 600 acres of space and turned it into a green space. We do have dwelling structures on it to help us sustain our investment, but otherwise the land is completely untouched and open and free. And so a lot of these photos are from that very rainforest. We have a massive amount of flora and fauna, more than I could list right now, in this rainforest, and it's a truly immersive experience. So I myself have a tree house there. It is a beautiful, beautiful structure, completely eco-friendly. No gasoline or glass was used on the property when making the property, so it's completely eco-friendly and beautiful space. So I want to take you on a journey through that space. So first you have to cross the river on this bridge to my house. Walk with me on this journey. Start to imagine you're in the rainforest and those smells, those sights. And then you have to go on the green trail past base camp. And right there, this is the swing, it's the entrance trail to my own tree house. And then there's the entrance. Casa Perezosa is the name of my house. And this is the sloth, the name of my house, Perezosa, sloth. And so we have this logo for our house. And you walk up this trail, it takes a few minutes to get there, and there's my house. Welcome. Welcome to Casa Perezosa. And then you need to, after that long journey, get ready to take a break and rest on the second story. But before you do that, go to the kitchen and make sure you put some water on the stove and get yourself ready for some tea. And while you're waiting for the tea to finish, you go out on the deck. And on the deck, I want you to hear the sounds of the rainforest. Imagine a monkey walking by, they often do on my property. If you're lucky, maybe a sloth. Look down below, you can see a small mammal walking around. You don't know what it is. You've never seen one like this before. It's so curious. Each rain droplet will drop on the large plants all around the house. This is what it's like to be at my treehouse. Now I want to transition to India. India, an amazing place. I was in the Jeep, the safari Jeep. You came around the corner, and there it was, a majestic, beautiful tigers. My 10th sighting in 5 days, an unprecedented amount of success looking for the tigers. And there she was. She stood majestic and laid there in the road and let us spend our time looking at her, photographing her, just in silence, stopping, putting the camera down, and enjoying her fully. It's a beautiful, beautiful place in India. You know, this kind of safari is an entirely different experience than the African safari. This is an auditory safari. You can't see. It's a deep forest. It's thick. So you can't actually see out into the expanse. So you must stop, turn off the vehicle, and be in silence for a long time. Maybe sit there for 30 minutes. What are you listening for? What are you waiting to hear? Well, anti-predator behavior. Monkeys and barking deer work together in the Indian and Sri Lankan forests to warn other animals of the predators that are nearby. You might ask, what does it sound like? What are you listening for? Listen to this. So that is the sound that you hear from the barking deer. It's a beautiful sound. It's something that those of us who are looking for tigers and leopards can't wait to hear. I would be remiss not to talk about one of the best experiences I've ever had in nature, and that was also in India, in the Himalayas, in Ladakh. For 10 days, I searched for snow leopards. It was just myself, a colleague, and 2 guides. 10 days. We started just over 4,000 meters every day and climbed to 5,000 meters every single day. In the bitter cold, -40 with wind chill factor up to -50 every single day. Going for 12, if we were lucky with the daylight, maybe 14 hours of trekking. Constantly looking for the snow leopards. We were alone. Usually at the certain times of the year, there's many tourists there, but this time it was just myself and the 3 others, all alone in the Himalayas. The sounds. We weren't making noises as a group. So the sounds of silence, the overwhelming sounds, being in nature, being in such a huge expanse, and listening for that snow leopard. It's a beautiful sound. I don't know if you've ever heard a snow leopard call, but it's a beautiful thing, when, especially the mating call, when they get up on the ridge and they call out. I do a terrible impression, but it's something like, "Arr! Arr!" Something like this. It's a beautiful, beautiful sound. Anyway, we were looking, and we didn't see any snow leopards. Saw lots of animals, lots of promising opportunities, lots of tracks. But we were alone, and usually large groups split up into the valleys in different spaces, into different valleys, and then use radios and call to each other when they've seen the snow leopard. But we were one group all alone, so we had to go into new valleys every single day. And so we had to cover a lot more ground than what is usual. On the 10th day, our scouts through the scope saw a snow leopard. It was so exciting. The last day we got to finally see it. And the thing was, it was so far away though, that our guide said, you know what? Would you like to try to trek and get closer to it without scaring it? And see if we could get a better view without, impeding too much on its territory and its space and making it anxious? So yeah, the guides knew that we were experienced climbers. We had proved it for 9 days, and we were a silent group. We were very good about traversing in nature and doing so respectfully and ethically. So we did. We went off. We climbed higher and higher and higher until we got so close to the snow leopard. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. This is the amazing sighting that we got. Here's a few seconds of that experience. just shy of 5,000 meters at this place. An almost spiritual experience for me to be up in the mountains with the snow leopard, essentially one with nature. And of course, I'd be remiss not to talk about the savannah in Kenya. One of the most beautiful places, Tanzania and Kenya. Both of these places have amazing wildlife in the Serengeti and the Masai Mara. The important thing when you're on safari is not to be like the other tourists and stand up in your jeeps. The first thing is to sit down and even put the camera down through the window down low so long as it's safe. You want to get lower and get into the experience with the animal. You want to be close to that animal and get as close to eye level as you can. If you look at a lot of these photos, I'm at eye level on a lot of these shots. I get down low and get close to them as best as I can in an ethical and safe way. It doesn't disrupt their behavior and keeps everyone safe. So that's the critical part about that is being in the experience. And yes, it is true that sometimes you should put your camera or your phone away and just experience it and be an observer in the moment. I would argue also, if you're a wildlife photographer and you are observing the moment, you're also participating in the moment. You're like an actor on the stage. You are seeing it, you are storytelling, you are framing how you will capture this moment. You're thinking about light and wind and colors and seasons and animal behaviors, all of these things all at once. And so in some ways you might even be more in the moment than those who are only just watching and experiencing and appreciating it. Beautiful Kenya. Sri Lanka, another place of auditory-based safaris, where it's not about what you see, it's about what you hear, and targeting that. Again, anti-predator calls in this country. Here's the barking deer right here. That's the sloth bear in the upper left-hand corner, one of the most dangerous bears in the world, kills more humans than any other kind of bear. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to immerse yourself in this forest and hear the sounds, and to know what it's like in the rainforest like that. Here's what it sounds like. These are my sounds I captured. Talk about Belarus. In Belarus, I really learned how to do wildlife photography. I studied under Vadim Sidorovich in Belarus. We were doing research on behalf of Belarus State University and Oxford University. Since Chernobyl, the nuclear explosion and the fallout from that, and all of the nuclear waste that went north, Vadim has been studying the genetic mutations that have occurred, if any, to the animals and to the plants. And so he's been tasked with this work to study everything from Minsk, the capital of Belarus, central Belarus, all the way south to the Ukrainian border, near Pripyat, where Chernobyl occurred. And so this is an amazing experience to work with him. We would go to the wolf dens, we'd pull out the pups, we would take hair samples, we'd check for their health, make some initial notes, some marks, and then send off the hair samples to be analyzed by Belarus State University and Oxford. An amazing experience, once of a lifetime experiences, and it was there where I learned how to properly track animals safely, ethically, without disrupting their behavior, and how to collect data, and how that data informs decision making in the field. It informs legislation potentially in different countries, and it helps us understand population changes in different species and the interconnectedness, of course. I would sit for multiple days in one place in my ghillie suit, looking for wolves. -30, -20, extreme cold, but one of the most rewarding experiences ever. This is a black wolf I got to see with students on a student trip. It's an amazing experience. This here, right here, is a lynx, the majestic cat of the forest. Beautiful, beautiful. It sat here on the road and framed itself for me. And lastly, I want to talk about, of course, the host country, a country most dear to my heart is Ethiopia. And so in Ethiopia, there's been so many wildlife experiences I've had. Clearly the best, only the snow leopard one would rival it. The gelada baboon, I love to go and spend all evening with them through the night and gain their respect and their trust. And then the alpha allows me in the morning as they warm themselves on the cliff to get very close. In this case, about 3 or 4 meters away. And to just be with them in silence. I don't need a cell phone, I don't need any distractions. Hours and hours, all night, and then all morning with them. The wolf, the same thing. It takes me about an hour or so to gain their trust and get within 2 to 3 meters. And when I say that, I mean their behaviors continue. If they were hunting, they continue hunting. If they're resting, they continue resting. If I have changed their behavior in any way, that's unethical, and that's an obscene thing to do, and I would never do that. If I see just an inkling of a change in behavior, I back away immediately. So it's only for me to study the animal and get close to it and try to be connected better with the animals, because it's something that's very, very dear to my heart. People go to Langano and they go swimming. No, don't go left. Go right. Go on the other side. Lakes Abiata and Shala and 10,000 Flamingo Lake. 3 of the most beautiful lakes in this country with so much animals. So many animals, so much to experience, so much to explore. It's an amazing space. One of my best experiences I've had in this country was near Shala Lake, where I walked all night with an aardvark. Very rare animal, a beautiful, beautiful animal. Check out this experience here in the nighttime. Notice how I'm keeping the light as much as I can away from its eyes. Let's see here. So a bit of a dark video, but one that I think you can appreciate. I tried to keep everything off, lights off. The moonlight was enough that we could just enjoy the experience and not worry so much about trying to get the right photos. A few times we turned on the light, we got the photos, got the video, and then we turned it off. And just enjoyed the whole evening with this aardvark. A very special, special experience. Right near Addis Ababa here, about an hour and 30 minutes away, is a place, a town called Dera, and in Dera, there is a park. It is called RC Mountains Block 1. It is amazing. It's a day trip here from Addis. You can go in the morning, have your wildlife experience, come back. And you self-drive yourself. It is very affordable. There's some amazing scouts there that will help you. They'll go in the car with you and go and ride along and show you all the animals. You can have greater and lesser kudu, hyenas, jackals, all kinds of wildlife in that space. It's a beautiful place to explore for sure. I have to highlight one of my favorite cats that I've been able to be very close to and spend whole evenings with in this country near Awash National Park, and that is the caracal. This was a breeding pair that I was able to spend the whole night with. And again, notice the light is off of their eye when we do this to get the photo, and then we turn the light off and we just spend the evening with the animal. And then, the lions. I have had the opportunity in this country to see 10 different black-maned lions, a unique species of lion, unique, endemic to Ethiopia, an incredible, beautiful, beautiful lion. And with my expertise from Belarus, I've been able to use that in the field in Ethiopia and to actually walk with them in the night. This is me walking with these lions in line. This is to get some data, get some information. Very few people are studying the lion here. They don't understand its behavior or know how they act as a pride or not. They're not a savanna lion, they're more like an alpine and forest lion, so there's a lot of things that are unique to them, and it's interesting to collect that data about them. And so, this was a beautiful African wildcat that I tracked through the night. This is a breeding lion pair here in Ethiopia. All these are from Ethiopia. The oryx. This is Deborah Libanos. Got to see a striped hyena in this country. Just a beautiful, amazing experience. And now I'd like to take you on a journey through a couple of these very quickly. This is in the night, as I'm tracking one of the female lions. I'm walking with her here. She decided to rest. I'm of no threat to her. Try to sit down, keeping a light on her so I can make sure that she's not making a decision to come towards me, and I can watch her behavior, make sure she's safe and I'm safe. So if I need to move away, I can. And try to keep it off her eyes and keep it to the backside of her. And then this was the sounds in my tent. Usually I sleep during the day. This time I was sleeping at night for a little bit before I went back out. This was the sounds outside my tent. Beautiful, beautiful sounds for sure. All right.
The black-maned Ethiopian lion is an incredibly rare species among the already vulnerable to extinction global lion population.
See, I'm outside the Jeep.
So it's safe to say
It's getting to be morning.
And nearly nobody on the planet.
So I need to, in the morning,
in person.
give them some space, and I'm not so close in the morning time. All right, thank you so much for hearing about my various experiences and some of the places I've been and what I appreciate so much here in Ethiopia and around the world. This is how you can contact me. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate your time.